The iron collar around Seren's throat burns cold against her skin as guards drag her through the fortress gates. Around her, Thornhaven blazes with celebration. Silk banners stream from every tower, their deep crimson fabric snapping in the autumn wind. Flowers carpet the cobblestones. Music drifts from the great courtyard where hundreds of wolves have gathered to witness history. Today, the Alpha King takes a bride. Today, two rival packs become one. Seren stumbles as a guard shoves her forward, her bare feet scraping against stone. She is nothing here. Less than nothing. A war captive sold 3 times over, brought along as part of the Valdros delegation's serving staff. Her role is to pour wine, clear plates, and remain invisible. She has become very good at remaining invisible. The courtyard opens before her, and her breath catches despite herself. She has heard stories of the Alpha King's domain, whispered tales of black stone towers and warriors who train from birth to kill, but the reality steals the air from her lungs. Thousands of wolves fill the space, their finest clothes a sea of color against the fortress's dark walls. At the far end, a ceremonial platform rises like an altar, draped in white silk and crowned with an arch of twisted iron. 2 thrones wait there, empty for now. But it is the man descending the stairs that makes her heart stutter. The Alpha King moves through his people like a blade through water, effortless and deadly. Dark hair falls across a face carved from granite, all sharp angles and shadows. His ceremonial armor gleams black as midnight, and even from this distance, she can feel the power radiating from him in waves that make her Omega Wolf whimper and press low. He is terrifying. He is beautiful. And in approximately 1 hour, he will be dead. The vision slams into her without warning, as they always do. Her knees buckle, the world tilts sideways, and suddenly she is not seeing the celebration anymore. She sees blood. Blood pooling beneath the ceremonial platform. Blood splattered across white silk. Blood dripping from the Alpha King's throat as he chokes on his final breath. Betrayal written in his dying eyes. She sees the knife hidden beneath the bride's bouquet, the poison coating the ceremonial cup, the archers positioned in the towers with arrows meant for one target alone. She sees Aldrich, the bride's brother, standing over the king's body with triumph twisting his handsome features. The vision releases her, and Seren gasps back to reality, trembling violently. No, 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 no. She has spent years hiding this curse, this unwanted gift, that shows her truths she never asked to see. She learned as a child that speaking her visions aloud brings only suffering. Her own pack beat her for her prophecies, called her mad, called her a liar. Sold her to make their problem someone else's. She should stay silent. She should pour the wine, clear the plates, and watch the Alpha King die. It is not her concern. He is not her king. She owes him nothing. But the vision pulses behind her eyes, and she sees it again, that moment when the light leaves his golden gaze. Something in her chest cracks at the image. The ceremony begins. Lasara descends the stairs in a gown of silver moonlight, her dark hair crowned with white roses. She is stunning. She is smiling, and walking 3 steps behind her, Aldrich carries the ceremonial cup with steady hands. Seren watches as the Alpha King takes his bride's hand, watches as the officiant raises his arms to bless the union, watches as Aldrich moves closer, ever closer, the cup gleaming with its poisoned contents. Her feet move before her mind gives permission. She breaks through the line of servants, ignoring the startled gasps, ignoring the guards who reach for her too slowly. The collar around her throat marks her as property, as nothing, but she runs anyway. She reaches the platform just as Aldrich extends the cup toward his new brother by marriage. Stop! The word tears from her throat. Every head turns. Every eye fixes on the ragged Omega slave who dares interrupt the most important ceremony in a generation. The Alpha King's gaze meets hers, and the weight of it nearly drives her to her knees, gold eyes burning with cold fury, with absolute authority, with the promise of death for this transgression. But she has come too far to stop now. Seren drops to her knees before him, her voice barely a whisper that somehow carries across the silent courtyard. You are being betrayed, my king. The cup is poisoned. Your bride's brother means to kill you before the sun sets. Silence crashes over the courtyard like a physical force. Aldrich laughs, the sound sharp and dismissive. The slave is mad. Everyone knows Omegas from the fallen packs suffer delusions. Guards, remove this creature before she further disrupts the ceremony. Hands seize her arms, rough and bruising. Seren does not struggle. She keeps her eyes fixed on the Alpha King's face, watching, waiting, and praying. For a long moment, he simply stares at her. Then his gaze shifts to Aldrich. Something flickers in those golden depths, something cold and calculating that makes even the bride's brother falter. The cup, the Alpha King says quietly. Aldrich's smile wavers. My king? Give me the cup. Of course, but surely you don't believe this deranged. The cup. Now. Aldrich's hand trembles almost imperceptibly as he extends the ceremonial vessel. The Alpha King takes it, raises it to his nose, and inhales deeply. His expression does not change, but when he speaks, his voice carries the weight of mountains crumbling. Lock the gates. The command echoes off stone walls. No one leaves Thornhaven until I have answers. The courtyard erupts into chaos. They throw Saren into darkness. The cell beneath Thornhaven is carved from the same black stone as the towers above, cold and damp and utterly lightless. She presses her back against the wall, her thin servant's dress offering no protection against the chill that seeps into her bones. Above her, she can hear the muffled sounds of chaos. Shouting, running footsteps, the clash of steel against steel. The ceremony has shattered into accusations and violence, and she sits at the center of it all, waiting to learn if she will be rewarded or executed. Hours pass, or perhaps days. In the darkness, time loses meaning. When the cell door finally groans open, torchlight floods her vision like liquid fire. Saren throws her arm across her eyes, blinking against tears as shadows resolve into shapes. 3 figures stand in the doorway. She recognizes the massive warrior first, Ronan, the Alpha King's commander. His scarred face betrays nothing as he steps aside to allow the others entry. The second figure makes dread coil tight in her stomach. Aldrich has not been arrested. He strides into her cell like he owns it, his fine clothes unmarred, his expression twisted with barely contained rage. Behind him, guards bearing the Valdros crest flank the doorway. The king granted me the right to question you, Aldrich says smoothly, though his eyes promise violence. A gesture of good faith between our packs. Saren's stomach drops. The cup. He smelled the poison. He knows nothing. Aldrich crouches before her, close enough that she can smell the wine on his breath. The cup contained ceremonial herbs. Bitter, yes, but hardly lethal. You made a grave accusation, little Omega, and you have no proof. No, that cannot be right. Her visions have never lied. Never. You saw nothing. His hand closes around her throat, squeezing just enough to cut off her air. You are mad, broken, a worthless slave grasping for attention, and when I am finished with you, everyone will know it. The pressure increases. Stars burst across her vision. Release her. The voice cuts through the cell like winter frost. Aldrich's hand freezes, then slowly withdraws. The Alpha King stands in the doorway. He has shed his ceremonial armor for simple black clothing that somehow makes him more intimidating, not less. His golden eyes sweep the scene, missing nothing, lingering on the red marks already forming on Saren's throat, then on Aldrich's guilty hands. My king. Aldrich rises smoothly, his smile firmly back in place. I was merely questioning the prisoner, as you permitted. I permitted questions, not assault. She required persuasion to speak truthfully. Did she? The words hold no inflection, yet somehow carry the weight of a death sentence. Leave us. Aldrich's composure cracks for just a moment. My king, surely I should be present too. Did I stutter? The quiet grows unbearable, brittle, and dangerous. Finally, Aldrich bows stiffly and withdraws, his guards following. Only Ronan remains, positioning himself outside the cell door with professional discretion. Saren presses harder against the wall as the Alpha King studies her. She cannot read his expression, cannot tell if he means to thank her or kill her himself. You disrupted my wedding, he says finally. Yes, my king. Accused my ally of attempted murder. Yes, my king. Made me look like a fool in front of both packs. She swallows hard. Yes, my king. He moves closer, and she forces herself to hold her ground. This near, she can smell pine and steel, can see the faint shadows beneath his golden eyes. The cup was clean, he says quietly. My healers tested it. No poison. Her heart sinks. My king, I know what I saw. I did not say I doubted you. The words stop her cold. She stares at him, confusion overwhelming her fear. Aldrich had hours to switch the cups before my men secured the evidence. The Alpha King's jaw tightens. Whoever planned this betrayal, they are not fools. They will not be caught so easily. Hope flickers in her chest, fragile and desperate. Then you believe me? For a long moment, he does not answer. His gaze traces her face, her ragged dress, the iron collar still locked around her throat. Something shifts in his expression, too quick to name. I believe someone wants me dead, he says finally. And you are either part of their plan or the only one who tried to stop it. He turns toward the door, then pauses. Ronan will bring you food and clean clothing. Tomorrow, you will tell me everything you saw, every detail, no matter how small. And if you decide I am lying, he glances back, and for just a moment, she sees something almost like respect in his golden eyes. Then pray your execution is swift. The door closes behind him, plunging her back into darkness. But this time, the shadows feel less suffocating. He believed her. Against all reason, against his own alliance, the Alpha King believed her. She touches her throat where Aldrich's fingers left their bruises, and she knows with terrible certainty that she has made a fatal enemy tonight. But perhaps, just perhaps, she has also found an unexpected ally. Dawn brings no answers, only more questions. Saren sits in a small chamber high in the eastern tower, far from the dungeons but still clearly a prison. A single window offers a view of the mountains beyond Thornhaven's walls. Iron bars ensure she cannot reach them. True to his word, the Alpha King sent food and clothing through Ronan. The dress is simple gray wool, servant's attire, but clean and warm. The bread and cheese are fresh, small mercies that mean everything after months of scraps. The door opens without warning, and she rises quickly, expecting the king. Instead, a woman enters, tall and stern-faced, with silver threading through her dark hair. She carries herself with the authority of someone accustomed to command. "I am Marin," the woman announces, her sharp eyes cataloging every detail of Saren's appearance. "Head of the king's household. His Majesty has ordered me to prepare you for questioning. Prepare me. You will be presented before the court. Both packs will hear your accusations and judge their merit." Marin's lips thin with disapproval. "You should know that Lord Aldrich has demanded your execution for slander. Half the Valdros delegation supports him." Cold terror washes through her. "And the king? The king has not declared his position." Marin moves closer, lowering her voice. "Listen carefully, girl. I have served Thornhaven for 30 years. I have seen mad slaves and scheming prisoners. I have also seen genuine seers. You believe I have the gift? I believe something made the Alpha King lock his own gates on his wedding day. That alone tells me more than any test." She produces a simple leather cord from her pocket and fastens it around Saren's collar, partially hiding the iron. "The court will try to destroy you. Aldrich will twist every word you speak. Your only chance is to tell exactly what you saw, nothing more, and nothing less. Understand?" Saren nods, her throat too tight for words. The great hall of Thornhaven swallows her whole. Hundreds of wolves line the walls, their whispers rising like the hiss of wind through dead leaves. On one side, the Valdros delegation clusters in hostile silence. On the other, Thornhaven's own wolves watch with expressions ranging from curiosity to contempt. At the far end, the Alpha King sits upon his throne of black iron, and beside him, occupying the seat meant for his queen, Lysera perches like a wounded bird. Her silver gown has been replaced with morning gray. Her eyes are red from weeping. Saren is led to the center of the hall, where a single beam of light falls through the high windows. She feels like a specimen pinned for examination. The Omega Saren, the king's voice echoes through the chamber, stands accused of disrupting a sacred ceremony and slandering a noble house. She claims the gift of prophecy. He pauses. Some call this madness. Others call it divine sight. Today, we determine which. Aldrich steps forward, his smile sharp as broken glass. "My king, if I may speak." The king inclines his head. This creature was captured from the Ashvale Pack during last spring's border conflicts. Her own people sold her willingly, warning that she suffered delusions and fits. Aldrich spreads his hands in false sympathy. She is to be pitied, not believed. Her broken mind invented this fantasy to gain importance. Murmurs ripple through the crowd. Saren sees doubt forming on faces that had been neutral moments before. "I saw what I saw," she says, her voice steadier than she feels. "The vision showed me blood on the ceremonial platform, poison in the cup, arrows waiting in the towers. Yet no poison was found." Aldrich counters smoothly. "No archers discovered. You offer visions without proof, accusations without evidence. The proof would have been the king's corpse." Shocked gasps echo through the hall. Even the Alpha King's expression tightens. Aldrich's eyes flash with something dark. "You dare." "I dare because I saw it." Saren forces herself to stand straighter, to meet the hostile gazes surrounding her. "I saw you standing over his body, Lord Aldrich. I saw triumph on your face as he died at your feet." "Lies." Aldrich's composure finally shatters. "This is madness, my king. Surely you will not entertain accusations from a deranged slave who—" She will be tested. Every voice falls silent. The Alpha King rises from his throne, and the weight of his presence crushes the air from the room. He descends the steps slowly, deliberately, until he stands directly before Seren. "You claim the gift of truth sight," he says quietly. "Prove it. My king, tell me something only I would know. Something no spy could have discovered. Something that proves your visions show truth and not fantasy." Dread coils tight in her chest. She cannot summon visions at will. They come when they choose, showing her glimpses she never asks to see. To perform on command is impossible. "I cannot control when. Then you are useless to me." The words fall like hammer blows. He turns away, dismissing her, and she sees her future crystallizing into something short and brutal. Desperation claws at her chest. She reaches for him without thinking, her fingers brushing his arm. The vision hits like lightning. She sees a boy, no more than 10, huddled in the ruins of a burning village. Bodies surround him. His parents, his pack, everyone he loved reduced to ash and memory. Soldiers in unfamiliar colors laugh as they ride away, leaving the child alone with nothing but fire and grief. She sees a name carved into a wooden beam, the last thing standing in the destroyed home. "Alira," Seren gasps as the vision releases her. "Your mother's name was Alira. She carved it herself, the day you were born, into the beam above your family's hearth." The Alpha King goes utterly still. Stillness hangs between them until it screams. When he turns back to face her, his golden eyes hold something new. Not trust, not yet, but something close to wonder. "No one knows that name," he whispers. "No one living. I saw it." Tears stream down her cheeks, though she does not remember starting to cry. "I saw the fire. I saw you as a child. I am sorry, my king. I am so sorry for what you lost." The hall erupts into chaos. Accusations and counter-accusations fly like arrows. Aldrich shouts about tricks and manipulation, while Lysara weeps and the Valdros wolves growl threats of broken alliances. But the Alpha King does not move. He simply stares at Seren, and in his gaze she sees walls beginning to crack, certainties beginning to crumble. She has proven her gift, but as Aldrich's eyes find hers across the chaos, burning with hatred and the promise of retribution, she knows that proof may have just signed her death warrant. The days following her trial blur together in a strange new rhythm. Seren is no longer a prisoner, but she is not free either. The Alpha King assigns her quarters in the eastern wing, modest but comfortable, with a guard posted outside her door at all times. For her protection, Marin explains. Or her containment, perhaps both. The Valdros delegation remains in Thornhaven, the wedding postponed indefinitely while investigations continue. Lysara weeps and wails her innocence to anyone who will listen. Aldrich moves through the fortress like a coiled serpent, his smile never reaching his eyes, his hatred following Seren like a shadow whenever their paths cross. She keeps her head down. She scrubs floors alongside the other servants, refusing special treatment despite Marin's protests. Work gives her purpose. Work keeps her mind from dwelling on golden eyes and the weight of a king's attention. But the visions do not stop. They come without warning, as they always have. A kitchen boy will brush past her, and she will see him falling from the battlements 3 days hence. A guard will hand her a bucket, and she will glimpse the letter hidden beneath his mattress. Words of treachery inked in careful script. She tells no one. Speaking her visions has only ever brought her pain, until the night she sees the child. Seren wakes from a dead sleep, gasping, the vision still burning behind her eyes. A little girl with dark curls and a gap-toothed smile. A servant's daughter, she realizes, one of the children who plays in the lower courtyard. In 3 days, the girl will wander into the kennels where the war wolves are kept. The beasts will tear her apart before anyone can intervene. She lies in darkness, trembling, trying to convince herself it is not her concern. She fails. The next morning, she finds Ronan in the training yard and tells him everything. His scarred face reveals nothing as he listens, but when she finishes, he simply nods and walks away. 2 days later, a new lock appears on the kennel doors. The little girl with dark curls continues playing in the courtyard, oblivious to the death she narrowly escaped. Word spreads through the servants' quarters like wildfire. The Omega Seer saved a child. The Omega Seer's visions are real. People begin seeking her out. A stable hand wants to know if his sick mother will recover. A laundress begs for news of her soldier son stationed at the border. Seren cannot summon visions at will, cannot answer their desperate questions, but she listens. She offers what comfort she can. For the first time in her life, her curse feels almost like a gift. The summons comes on the 7th night. Ronan escorts her through corridors she has never seen, deeper into the fortress's heart, until they reach a door carved with wolves and moons. He knocks once, then retreats without a word. Enter. The Alpha King's private study is smaller than she expected, lined with books and maps rather than weapons and trophies. A fire crackles in the hearth, casting warm light across scattered papers and half-empty wine glasses. Kalen stands at the window, his back to her, gazing out at the moonlit mountains beyond. "Close the door." She obeys, her pulse racing against her ribs. "You saved a child this week," he says without turning. "Prevented a death that would have devastated my household. I only told Ronan what I saw, my king, and asked for nothing in return." He turns then, and something in his expression makes her forget to breathe. The cold authority is still there, but beneath it, she glimpses exhaustion, loneliness, the weight of a crown worn too long without rest. Why? Because she was innocent. Because I could help. Saren hesitates. Because staying silent felt worse than speaking. He moves closer, and she forces herself to hold her ground. This near, she can smell pine and steel, can see the faint shadows beneath his golden eyes. "My advisors think you are a spy," he says quietly. "A plant from some rival pack, designed to sow discord and destroy my alliance with Valdros. And what do you think, my king? I think you are the most confounding creature I have ever encountered." His hand rises, and she flinches instinctively, expecting a blow. Instead, his fingers brush gently across her cheek, feather light and wondering. "You had no reason to warn me, no reason to save a servant's child, yet you did both. My visions do not care about reasons. They show me truth whether I wish to see it or not. A burden, yes." Her voice breaks slightly. "One I have carried alone for a very long time." Something softens in his gaze. The walls she has glimpsed behind his eyes seem to thin, revealing the man beneath the king. "When I was young," he says slowly, "I believed that strength meant standing alone, that needing others was weakness, that trust led only to betrayal and loss." His jaw tightens. "My parents trusted their allies. It cost them everything." "The fire," Saren whispers, remembering her vision. "You lost them all. I survived because I was small enough to hide, because I stayed silent while they burned." His voice roughens with old grief. "The old Valdros Alpha found me 3 days later, half dead from smoke and thirst. He raised me alongside his own sons. Aldrich among them taught me that softness was death, that mercy was a luxury the weak could not afford. And now his son may be trying to kill you." Irony has a cruel sense of humor. Kalen's hand drops from her face, but he does not step back. "I have spent my entire reign building walls, Saren, keeping everyone at a distance where they cannot hurt me. But you," he shakes his head slowly, "you walked through those walls like they were made of smoke. I did not mean to." "I know." His voice softens. "That is what makes it terrifying." They stand there in firelight and silence, close enough to touch, the air between them charged with something neither dares to name. "My king," she whispers. "Kalen," he corrects, just as he had in her dreams. "When we are alone, I would hear my name from your lips. Kalen." The word feels sacred, dangerous, like holding lightning in her palms. He leans closer, and her heart threatens to burst, his breath warm against her skin, his golden eyes burning with an intensity that makes her knees weak. "I should not want this," he murmurs. "You are under my protection. It would be wrong to—" A sharp knock shatters the moment. Kalen steps back instantly, his expression smoothing into cold authority as the door swings open. Ronan stands in the hallway, his face grim. "Forgive the interruption, my king, but Lord Aldrich requests an urgent audience. He claims to have evidence regarding the assassination plot." Saren's chest tightens with sudden fear. Over Ronan's shoulder, she catches a glimpse of movement in the corridor's shadows. Aldrich's pale eyes meet hers for just a moment, glittering with triumph. He saw them. He knows. And whatever game he is playing, she has just become a far more valuable piece. The evidence Aldrich presents is damning. Letters bearing Saren's supposed handwriting, detailing assassination plans. A witness, a terrified servant who swears she saw the Omega meeting with hooded figures in the lower city. A dagger hidden beneath Saren's mattress, its blade coated with the same poison that was allegedly never in the ceremonial cup. "The creature played us all," Aldrich announces to the assembled court, his voice ringing with righteous fury. She warned of betrayal to deflect suspicion from herself. "A clever ploy, I admit, but the truth always surfaces." Saren stands in chains once more, the iron collar back around her throat, her protests silenced by guards who will not meet her eyes. The evidence is fabricated. She knows this absolutely. But fabricated evidence can kill just as easily as truth. The Valdros wolves bay for her blood. Even some of Thornhaven's own watch her with doubt poisoning their gazes. She saved a child, yes, but what is one child against letters and witnesses and hidden weapons? Lysara sits beside the empty throne, her tears conveniently dried, and her expression holding something that looks almost like satisfaction. The throne remains empty, because the king has not yet appeared. Minutes stretch into eternities. Aldrich's confidence grows with each passing moment. He has planned this perfectly, Saren realizes, struck while the king was distracted, while whatever fragile connection they had forged remained too new to withstand assault. Then the doors crash open. Kaelin strides into the hall like a storm-given flesh, his black armor gleaming, his golden eyes blazing with barely contained fury. Behind him march a dozen of his personal guard, their expressions hard as iron. "This trial is a farce," the Alpha King announces, his voice cutting through the whispers like a blade. "And I will prove it." Aldrich's composure flickers. "My king, the evidence clearly shows. Your evidence is lies built on lies." Kaelin ascends to his throne but does not sit. Instead, he stands before it, addressing the entire assembly. The letters were written by a scribe in Lord Aldrich's personal employ. The witness was threatened with her family's destruction if she did not cooperate, and the dagger was planted by one of the Valdros guards, who has already confessed under questioning. Shocked murmurs ripple through the crowd. Furthermore, Kaelin's gaze sweeps the hall, settling finally on Aldrich's increasingly pale face. "My investigators have uncovered the original assassination plot in its entirety. The poison was real, merely moved before our healers could test the cup. The archers were positioned exactly where the seer described, withdrawing only when the ceremony was interrupted." He descends the steps slowly, each footfall echoing like thunder. "You meant to kill me, Aldrich. Kill me and blame the chaos on a mad Omega slave, then marry your sister to whatever puppet you installed in my place. These are lies." Aldrich's voice rises desperately. "My king, you cannot believe." "I believe the seer." Kaelin stops directly before his former ally, his presence overwhelming. "I believe her because she has never lied to me. I believe her because she risked everything to save a king who had given her nothing but chains and suspicion." He turns to his guards. "Take Lord Aldrich to the dungeons. He will face trial for treason at dawn." The hall erupts. Valdros wolves surge forward, hands reaching for weapons, but Thornhaven's warriors are faster. Steel rings against steel as chaos consumes the court. Through it all, Saren watches Kaelin fight his way toward her. He cuts through enemies like they are made of paper, his power devastating, and his focus absolute. When he reaches her side, his claws shred through her chains like ribbons. "Are you hurt?" he demands, his hands gripping her shoulders. "No, Kaelin, behind you." He spins just as Aldrich lunges from the chaos, a poisoned blade gleaming in his fist. The king catches his wrist, twists, and the knife clatters to the stone floor. "You should have stayed in chains," Kaelin snarls. "And you should have died at your wedding." Aldrich's laugh is wild, broken. "But there will be other chances, other blades. You cannot protect her forever. Watch me." Kaelin's fist connects with Aldrich's jaw, and the traitor crumples unconscious to the floor. Later, after the chaos settles, after Aldrich and his conspirators are dragged to the dungeons, and the Valdros delegation is confined to their quarters pending judgment, Kaelin finds Saren in the gardens. She sits beside a frozen fountain, trembling despite the cloak wrapped around her shoulders. The violence of the day has left her hollow, scraped raw by fear and relief in emotions she cannot name. He settles beside her without speaking, his warmth a steady presence against the cold. "You defended me," she whispers finally, "before your entire court. You called me a seer, not a slave. You are a seer." His hand finds hers, engulfing her small fingers in his larger grip. "You are also the bravest person I have ever known." I was terrified. Courage is not the absence of fear. His thumb traces circles across her knuckles. It is acting despite the fear. "You have done that since the moment you interrupted my wedding." She laughs shakily. "I ruined your wedding. You saved my life." He shifts closer, and suddenly the space between them feels impossibly small. "Saren." She looks up, and his golden eyes capture hers, burning with something that steals the breath from her lungs. "When this is over," he says quietly, "when Aldrich has faced justice, and the alliance has been settled, I would speak with you about the future." "The future?" "Our future." His free hand rises to cup her cheek, and this time, no knock interrupts them. "If you would have me," her heart soars and breaks simultaneously. "I am an Omega, a war captive. Your nobles would never accept. My nobles will accept what I tell them to accept." His forehead touches hers, their breath mingling in the cold air. "I am done building walls, Saren. I am done standing alone." The kiss is inevitable. It begins soft, questioning, a gentle brush of lips that asks permission. When she melts into him, her hands fisting in his shirt. It deepens into something hungry and desperate. Two souls finding harbor after endless storms. They break apart, gasping, and she sees her own wonder reflected in his eyes. "Kaelin," she breathes. "Soon," he promises, pressing one last kiss to her forehead. "When the shadows are cleared, I will give you a future worthy of your courage." But as he walks her back to the fortress, neither notices the figure watching from the darkened corridor. Lysara's eyes burn with hatred as she observes their tender farewell. Her brother may be captured, their plot exposed, but she is still free, and she knows exactly how to destroy the Omega who stole everything. 3 days pass in fragile peace. Aldrich's trial concludes with a sentence of execution, delayed only by the need to root out remaining conspirators within both packs. The Valdros wolves are given a choice: swear new oaths of loyalty to Thornhaven or face exile. Most choose to stay, their allegiance to Aldrich's family shattered by the evidence of his treachery. Lysara plays the victim beautifully. She weeps and protests her innocence, swearing she knew nothing of her brother's schemes. The court believes her. Even Kaelin seems convinced, his attention consumed by politics and justice and the 1,000 responsibilities of a king. Only Saren sees the truth behind those tear-filled eyes. Her visions show her glimpses, fragments of whispered conversations and hidden meetings. But Lysara's hatred burns fresh, her plan born of impulse rather than calculation, the kind of sudden violence that slips beneath prophecy's reach. Nothing concrete, nothing she can prove until it is too late. It will prove to be a fatal mistake. The summons comes at midnight, delivered by a servant Saren has never seen before. The Alpha King requests her presence in the lower archives immediately, a matter of urgency regarding new evidence. She should question it, should insist on verification, but she thinks of Kaelin's promise in the garden, of the future he offered, and her heart overrules her head. The archives are silent and dark, lit only by scattered torches that cast dancing shadows across endless shelves of scrolls and records. Saren moves deeper into the labyrinth, searching for any sign of the king. "Hello?" Her voice echoes off stone walls. "Kaelin? He is not coming." Saren spins, cold terror flooding through her. Lysara emerges from the shadows, her silver gown ghostly in the torchlight. Behind her stand 4 guards bearing Valdros colors, their swords already drawn. "You should have stayed silent at the ceremony," Lysara says softly, advancing with predatory grace. "Should have let my brother succeed." Now Aldrich faces the executioner's blade. "And you," her smile is beautiful and terrible, "you face me. The king will know," Saren says, backing away. "If you harm me, he will find your body in the morning, victim of a tragic accident." Lysara's eyes glitter with madness. The unstable Omega wandered where she should not, and fell from the cliffs. So sad, so unfortunate. The king will grieve briefly, then move on to more suitable matches. "You loved him." The realization strikes Saren like lightning. This was never just about politics. You wanted him for yourself. "I was supposed to be his queen." The composure cracks, revealing the obsession beneath. "I waited years, endured my brother's schemes, and played the perfect bride. And then you appeared, a worthless slave, and he looked at you like you hung the stars." Her voice drops to a hiss. "I will not be discarded for an Omega whore." She gestures to her guards. "Take her to the cliffs, make it look convincing." Rough hands seize Saren's arms. She screams, struggles, but the guards are too strong, their grip bruising as they drag her toward a door she had not noticed, one that opens onto narrow stairs carved into the mountain itself. The night air hits her like a blade, cold and sharp and smelling of pine. Below, the cliffs drop away into blackness, a fall that no wolf could survive. "Any last words?" Lysara asks sweetly. Saren thinks of Kaelin, of his golden eyes and gentle hands and the future they will never share. Grief wells up inside her, but beneath it burns something fiercer, defiance. "He will never love you," she says clearly. "Even if I die tonight, he will never look at you the way he looked at me. You cannot force what was never yours." Lysara's face twists with rage. "Throw her over." The guards drag her toward the edge, and then the night explodes into chaos. A massive black wolf crashes through the guards like a battering ram, snarling with fury that shakes the very stones. Bones crack, men scream, and suddenly Saren is free, and stumbling backward from the cliff's edge as battle erupts around her. Kaelin shifts mid-leap, his human form rising from the wolf's fury with a sword already in his hand. He moves through Lysara's guards like death incarnate, his blade singing a lethal song that ends in gurgling cries and falling bodies. Within moments, only Lysara remains standing, cornered against the cliff's edge, her beautiful face contorted with desperation. "My king," she gasps. "Please, you do not understand." "I understand perfectly." Kaelin's voice is colder than the mountain wind. "Ronan intercepted your servant. Your entire plot unraveled before you even reached the archives. I did it for us." Lysara's composure shatters entirely. "For the future we could have had. She has poisoned your mind with her Omega witchcraft. But I can free you. The only witch here is you." He advances, and Lysara retreats until her heels hang over empty air. "You have two choices," Kaelin says quietly. "Face trial for attempted murder of the woman I love, or face the cliffs you prepared for her." Lysara looks at him, at Saren, at the endless darkness below. For a moment, something almost like sanity returns to her eyes. "I would have made you happy," she whispers. Then she steps backward into nothing. Saren turns away before the sound reaches them, burying her face against Kaelin's chest. His arms wrap around her, holding her together as tremors shake her body. "I have you," he murmurs into her hair. "I have you. It is over." But even as he speaks, she feels the wetness spreading between them, pulls back to see the dark stain blooming across his side, where one of the guard's blades found its mark during the chaos. "Kaelin." Her voice breaks. "You are hurt." He looks down at the wound, his expression flickering with something she cannot read. "It is nothing. A scratch." But his face has gone pale, too pale, and when he takes a step, his legs buckle. Saren catches him as he falls, every instinct screaming even as her heart shatters. "No." She tears his shirt aside, revealing the wound, and her stomach drops into endless darkness. The blade was poisoned, silver wrought, the deadliest poison known to wolves, already spreading through his veins in black lines that creep toward his heart. The same poison Aldrich used, the same killing touch meant for the wedding day, now finally finding its target through his sister's desperate gambit. "Saren," Kaelin's voice is fading. "Get help, the healers. There is no time." She presses her hands to his chest, feeling the poison's deadly advance. "The poison is too fast. If I leave you, you will die before I reach the doors. Then leave me." His hand covers hers weakly. "I will not let you sacrifice yourself for. I did not ask your permission." She does not know what she is doing, has never tried anything like this before, but her gift has always been about seeing truth, and now she sees the truth of the poison, its pattern, its path, its purpose, and she sees how to stop it. Light blazes from her palms, pouring into his poisoned body, not healing exactly, but something deeper. She reaches through their connection, through the bond that began forming the moment she first touched him at the ceremony, and she fights. The pain is immediate and excruciating, the poison fighting her power like a living thing, tearing at her essence as she tears at it. She sees his life force flickering, guttering like a candle in a hurricane. The black lines continue spreading despite her efforts, reaching for his heart with inevitable hunger. It is not enough. Her power alone is not enough. Saren makes a choice. She stops fighting the poison with power and starts fighting it with sacrifice, opens herself completely, letting her own life force flow into his body, replacing what the poison destroys, giving him pieces of her soul to fill the gaps the silver rot leaves behind. "Saren." His voice is horrified. "What are you doing? Stop. You will kill yourself. Better me than you." Tears stream down her face as she pours everything into him. "The kingdom needs you. The pack needs you. I am just an Omega. I am nothing. You are everything." His hand finds her cheek, trembling with desperate weakness. "You are everything to me." The poison reaches his heart. His eyes go wide with shock. His chest stops moving. "No!" The scream tears from her throat as she feels his life force flicker and die. "Kaelin, no. Please, please, please." She gives more than she thought she had, more than anyone should survive giving. And in the darkness between heartbeats, something miraculous happens. The poison shatters. Saren collapses beside him, her vision swimming, her body hollowed out by what she has given. She cannot feel her hands, cannot feel much of anything except the cold stone beneath her and the terrible silence where his heartbeat should be. She failed, gave everything and still failed. "Kaelin," she whispers, her voice barely audible. "I am sorry. I am so sorry." Silence answers her. Then, impossibly, wonderfully, she hears a gasp. His chest heaves. Color floods back into his face. The black lines retreat, fade, vanish entirely as if they never existed. His eyes open. Saren. Her name is the first word on his lips, spoken with such desperate relief that it breaks something inside her. "Saren." What did you do? I saved you. She tries to smile but manages only a weak trembling of her lips. Told you I could help. At what cost? He struggles upright, gathering her into his arms with infinite gentleness. I felt you pouring your life into me. You almost died. You almost... His voice breaks. Worth it, she murmurs. You are worth it. You foolish, brave, impossible woman. He presses his forehead to hers, and she feels wetness on her cheeks that does not come from her own eyes. Never do that again. Never. Then stop getting poisoned. A laugh escapes him, wild and relieved and verging on hysteria. Noted. She is fading now, consciousness slipping away like water through fingers. The sacrifice demanded its price, and her body screams for rest, for recovery, for time to rebuild what she gave away. But before the darkness takes her, she needs him to know. Kaelin. Her hand finds his face, tracing the sharp angles she has come to love. I saw our future once, in a vision, before all this. What did you see? You, she whispers. Always you. From the moment I touched you at the ceremony, I knew my fate was bound to yours. His arms tighten around her. Then it seems we were always meant to be here. Together. Together, she agrees, and lets the darkness take her. She wakes 3 days later in a bed softer than clouds, sunlight streaming through tall windows she does not recognize. Her body feels strange, lighter somehow, as if pieces of her have been rearranged. There is a warmth in her chest that was not there before, a steady pulse that beats in counterpoint to her own heart. You gave me part of your soul. She turns her head to find Kaelin sitting beside her bed, his golden eyes red-rimmed with sleeplessness, his hand clasped around hers like he has held it for days. The healers say it is unprecedented. He continues quietly. A bond forged through sacrifice. I can feel you now, here. He touches his chest. Your emotions, your presence, like a second heartbeat I never knew I was missing. Is that... She swallows hard. Is that unwelcome? Unwelcome? He laughs softly, bringing her hand to his lips. It is the greatest gift anyone has ever given me, though I would have preferred you give it without nearly dying in the process. I will try to remember that for next time. There will be no next time. His expression grows serious. I have already executed what remained of the Valdros conspirators. Our enemies are destroyed, our borders secured. There is no one left who would dare threaten you. And the Alliance? The Alliance was built on lies. We will forge new ones, honest ones, with packs who value truth over treachery. He shifts from the chair to the bed's edge, his hip pressing against hers through the blankets. But first, there is a matter I must settle. What matter? The matter of my queen. Air freezes in her lungs. Kaelin, I told you once that when the shadows cleared, I would offer you a future worthy of your courage. He produces something from his pocket, a ring of twisted silver and moonstone, that catches the light, like captured starfire. The shadows have cleared, Saren, and I find I cannot imagine a future without you in it. I am still an Omega. Your nobles will. My nobles watched an Omega save their king through sheer force of will and love. His smile is warm and wondering. They are already calling you the soul-bonded, the seer queen. Legends are forming even as you slept. Seer queen. She tests the words on her tongue. That sounds rather grand for a former slave. You were never a slave. He slides the ring onto her finger, and it fits perfectly, as if it was made for her alone. You were always exactly what I needed, even before I knew I needed anything at all. Tears blur her vision. I do not know how to be a queen. Then we will learn together. He leans in, and his lips brush hers with aching tenderness. Say yes, Saren. Say you will stay. Yes, the word escapes on a breath. Yes, I will stay. Yes, I will be your queen. Yes, yes, yes. He kisses her properly then, a claiming kiss that steals her breath and sets her soul on fire. His hands frame her face like she is precious beyond measure, and she feels his joy through the bond they now share, bright and overwhelming and entirely mutual. When they finally break apart, both gasping, his forehead rests against hers. I love you, he says simply. I think I have loved you since you knelt before me and whispered of betrayal. I just did not have the words for it then. I love you too. She laughs through her tears. I think I have loved you since you believed me when no one else would. Then we are agreed. His smile is radiant, the cold king she first met entirely transformed. We belong together. Together, she echoes, and knows, with the absolute certainty of her gift, that this is the truest thing she has ever seen. Spring returns to Thornhaven, and with it, transformation. The black stone fortress that once seemed carved from shadows now blooms with life. Flowers cascade from window boxes. Music drifts through open courtyards. Children laugh and play, where warriors once drilled in grim silence. The changes began small. A council of seers established to advise on matters of truth and justice, where visions are honored rather than feared. Then larger, schools opened for servants' children. Treaties signed with neighboring pacts based on mutual respect rather than intimidation. Now, 6 months after the Seer Queen took her throne, Thornhaven has become something its founders would scarcely recognize, a beacon of hope in a world too long defined by cruelty. Saren walks through the gardens, her silver gown brushing against blooming roses, her hand resting on the gentle swell of her stomach. The soul bond pulses warm in her chest. Always now, a constant reminder that she is never truly alone. She knows Kaelin approaches before she sees him, feels his joy through their connection as clearly as if it were her own. His arms wrap around her from behind, his hands covering hers where they rest on their growing child. The Valdros heir has arrived, he murmurs against her ear. He wishes to formally pledge his pack's loyalty to Thornhaven. The nephew? Saren turns in his arms. I thought he was barely more than a boy. He is young, but wise enough to see the truth his uncle and cousin were blind to. Kaelin's thumb strokes across her knuckles. He asked specifically to meet the Seer Queen. Apparently, your reputation has spread even to the distant territories. I hope that reputation is favorable. They call you the Heart of Thornhaven, the queen who taught an empire to see clearly. His golden eyes shine with pride. I would say that is more than favorable. She rises on her toes to kiss him softly. Flatterer, truth-teller. He grins. I learned from the best. That evening, the great hall fills with wolves from a dozen packs, all gathered to witness the new alliance. The young Valdros heir kneels before the twin thrones, his voice steady as he swears oaths of friendship and peace. When the ceremony concludes, Kaelin rises and extends his hand to his queen. Dance with me? In my condition? She gestures at her swollen belly. I can barely walk without waddling, then waddle gracefully. His smile is infectious. Please, my love, humor your besotted husband. She takes his hand, lets him lead her to the center of the hall, where musicians strike up a gentle melody. Around them, wolves who were once enemies now laugh and drink together, united by a vision of something better. I had a vision last night, Saren says quietly as they sway together. Oh, his hand tightens slightly on her waist. Good or bad? Good. She smiles up at him, radiant with certainty. I saw our daughter taking her first steps. I saw our son learning to shift. I saw us, old and gray, watching our grandchildren play in these same gardens. That sounds like a very full future. It is. She rests her head against his chest, listening to the heartbeat that now echoes her own. And every moment of it, we are together. He presses a kiss to her hair, and she feels his love through their bond, vast and deep and eternal. Together, he agrees. Always. The music swells around them, and the Seer Queen dances with her king while their kingdom celebrates a peace that was born from courage, forged through sacrifice, and sealed with a love that even death could not conquer. And beyond the fortress walls, spring continues its patient work, coaxing new life from cold earth, transforming a world that once knew only winter into something bright and beautiful and boundlessly full of hope.